Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I just got back from Kaiju Brooklyn last Saturday, May 30th. Now, this was a 2-day event, but I only stayed for the one day, Saturday, May 30th, mainly just because of, I usually when it comes to the convention, you want to try to, even if you're just staying for like a certain amount of days, you kind of just want to stay for like the days that have like the most going on, if that makes sense. And yeah, I was kind of debating back and forth whether I wanted to do like two videos or just like one video talking about everything. But in the case for this particular video, and considering that I only went for one day, I'm just going to talk about everything all at once. Also, sorry if I'm talking a little low. Hopefully, you guys can hear me fairly good. Just have again family sleeping and don't want to be too loud. We'll start with the haul, like everything that I got, and then I'll go into a little bit of like my overall experience with the event. Now, obviously, Kaiju Brooklyn is not going to be like your typical G Fest or Comic Con or anything like that, but I don't think this event is trying to compete with that. It just offers another avenue for kaiju fans to come together and share the love for the franchise and like just the overall genre as a whole. Whether it be like Godzilla, Ultraman, Kamen Rider Sentai, you name it, it's there. And another thing that I appreciate too was that this was a fairly local convention for me. Well, I say local because this was an event that I could just drive to. I didn't have to like take a plane or a train or even the ferry just to get there. Like I can just drive there. But more on that later. And like more so my experience later. But anyway, um I kind of talked briefly a little bit about like my experience last year, which again, it's on my Spotify podcast, and I had my good friend Luca Morello on there, and we kind of talked about like overall like fun events during school and just fun family trips. And I brought up Kaiju Brooklyn briefly there, so if you guys are interested, definitely go check that out. Um, but I'll also kind of post like later on towards the video, like towards the end of the video, I'll post a picture of like my haul from last year too. So I guess we'll just start with the very first thing that I bought. Now, let me set the stage here briefly for some context. So my initial like dream goal for Holy Grails was to, no matter where it was, whether it be this event, Kaiju Brooklyn, G Fest, or any kind of convention that sells like Godzilla figures, both old and new. My holy grails at the time that I wanted to get the most were SH Monsters Burning Godzilla and SH Monsters Destroyer. However, considering that last year was the 30th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Destroyer, Monstars line was kind enough to give both of those figures a third reissue because the first two versions of the character they were up for pre-order at a decent price at the time, but eventually, like most other figures that are that have been out for a little bit, they eventually creep up in price. And at the time, I wasn't able to get them, and I was really hoping at some point in the future to grab them. But thankfully, when I saw that both figures were getting a third reissue, I did not hesitate. I put both of them on pre-order as soon as I can, and I officially now own both figures to recreate this image right here. As you can see, this glorious peak image. And also with that, now that I have both Monsters, Burning Godzilla, and Destroyer, and by the way, I mean, y'all saw like my unboxing for Destroyer, like I was ecstatic. I was so happy. I was so ecstatic when I finally opened that guy up. Um, this kind of opened up an avenue to look for other figures that I've been looking to potentially grab at some point in the near future, whether old or new. And the very first thing that I bought, now the dealer's room, uh, it was a pretty big one. Like it wasn't as big, I would say, G Fest, but still had a lot of good stuff to offer. And also, I noticed that the dealer's room was a little different in terms of like how like different vendors were set up because like different booths were in different locations. Like it wasn't the same compared to last time. Normally, when it comes to conventions too, like especially like recently, I try to like when I first walk into a dealer's room, I try to like kind of walk around just to see whatever like what's there basically and like what's included before I go to make purchases. Unless of course I see something that I know I want to grab as soon as I walk in. But for the most part, kind of just do like a couple laps to see like what's there, what's on the tables and everything. And one of the booths had a couple Haya figures. And so for the very first purchase that I bought at Kaiju Brooklyn, I ended up going with the Haya Heat Ray Godzilla 91. This was a figure when first got announced, first got revealed that like Haya was jumping into like the Toho area, like jumping in to start doing like Toho characters. I thought it looked really cool, but I didn't really, wasn't really too sure if I was gonna pick it up personally. There's a closer look. Hopefully, you guys can see that. Yeah, I wasn't really intending on grabbing this initially, but over time, more I thought about it, I was like, why not? Let's grab this figure. And I'm so happy that I did because this guy looks really, really good overall. Very fun to pose. Sculpt is again very, very fantastic. And this tail, one of the best posable tails that I've ever experienced, and especially in person. Also, the other reason why I went with the He-Ray version because they had this and the other version, like the other 91 basically, but I wanted the He-Ray because it kept hearing like this one was the better one between the two basically, but I think no matter which one you go with, you're not missing out at all because this is a definitely a standout in terms of figures for the Haya line. So yeah, Haya He-Ray Godzilla, very, very nice overall. I do have the accessories right here in a little plastic bag. Nothing too extreme, just the hands and of course the beam. It'd be weird if Haya did like a Monsters where they just released the figure with the blue dorsal plates like charging up and they didn't give us a beam. So anyway, enough about that. So yeah, first purchase, Haya Heat Ray Godzilla. Very, very nice figure overall. Highly recommend. Also, review for this and all the other figures that you're going to see in this video, along with like others. There's a lot that I got to do. But just rest assured, reviews for everything, all my figures are coming out at some point in the near future. It's probably going to take some time. Before we move on to the next couple of purchases, I just wanted to show you briefly what the tag looked like because it was a little different compared to last year. So this is the one from this year, and I'll show you the one from last year as well. Yeah, big difference in terms of like scale and size. Pretty cool overall. I do like the artwork on both of them. So for the next set of purchases, one of the big figures I was hoping to find this year because I was unfortunately unable to find it last year was the Movie Monster Series Kaiser Ghidorah, and specifically the bigger, I think it's like the 8-inch vinyl. That thing looks really, really good, and honestly, I would argue almost looks better than the X Plus, even though I can't really knock on the X Plus, and I gotta bite my tongue a little bit because the X Plus still looks gorgeous. It's just like the Movie Monster Series vinyl is the one that I want the most between the two because that thing looks gorgeous as well. Really love the sculpt on it. Looks like it poses very, very decently, and the paint's really nice on that too. But unfortunately, similar to last year, I wasn't able to find it. Sad. Press F to pay respects on the chat. um, I mean, they had Kaiser Ghidorah with the Bandai vinyl, but it's like the updated like remold of that figure, which I don't really like that figure. It doesn't really look that good in my honest opinion. But that's okay. Hopefully at some point, maybe one day I'll be able to find it for a good price. But while walking around the booths, like walking around the vendors and the booths, I saw that there was a table that was selling like vinyls, both old and new. Now, I kind of feel bad because I kept seeing these 2 figures, and especially the one figure, and I was kinda looking to grab that, and the thing about conventions that you gotta keep in mind is that, they can be a little pricey, but at the same time, you gotta keep into consideration the fact of, like, okay, it's pricey because of, like, I guess those are just how convention prices normally are. A lot of the figures that they sell there are figures that are very hard to come by, especially nowadays. Like, they're very rare, they're old. The other thing too is, like, you more than likely won't be seeing that again. Like, that's the only time you're gonna see it, so you might as well just hop on it. After going back and forth and trying to negotiate something with the guy, I ended up finalizing it, buying both of these figures for a total price of $110 because the one of them was 80, the other one I think was like 50, but then we kind of brought it down to 45, but then eventually we brought it down to like 30. So, with these 2 figures that I'm talking about, I bought the Bandai Theater exclusive Godzilla 2002. This is the white and blue variant, and I bought the original Showa Rodan from 1956 film, Rodan. I'm very happy to have these 2 because, when we're talking about, like, non-Toho, like, non-Godzilla films in Toho, Rodan is honestly my favorite of, like, those films. I just really love the overall aesthetic, the story behind it is really good. This is my favorite design for Rodan. I just thought it looked really menacing, scary, and, very happy to have this guy. With him, uh I always loved the idea of having like theater exclusive, like special limited editions of certain characters. The only other one that I have is the Burning Godzilla, the one that's like all orange and red. And this one kind of stuck out to me the most because I really love the overall color scheme of it, with the white, and again having the blue dorsal fins. I thought looked really good. And what's cool about these figures too, if you're unfamiliar with the idea of like Bandai like theater exclusives. To my understanding, at least from what I've gathered, at the time of the film's release, so like at the time of Godzilla against Mechagodzilla releasing in Japan, they would have like these special figures that I think they would hand out for free, and they would have like unique color schemes. And I think definitely this one was one of them that was sold. So yeah, very excited, very happy to have both of these guys in my collection. The total price of 110 is not bad for both of them. Which again, considering how much I guess I go for nowadays and availability, because these are probably rare figures to find nowadays. So 110, not really complaining too much. So for the next figure on my list that I bought, I when initially like walking into the dealer's room and like looking around at stuff, there was a couple moments where I thought I would miss out. I and I kind of did on some of them. Like I remember seeing one of the tables towards like the back of the room. They were selling a couple of like SH Monster figures. I saw that they had Monster X. I was like, oh, cool. I was a little pricey, but who knows? Maybe I'll try to grab it. And as soon as I walked up on the table, somebody instantly grabbed it and bought it. I was like, oh man. I thought a similar situation was going to happen with the movie Monster series for Ron, the newer one, not the older one, like the newer one that you see nowadays. Um, I was like I was looking at all the vinyls on the table, and then I hear somebody behind me go, "Excuse me." I stepped to the side. They went for the Varan, but thankfully they didn't go there. um, and with this particular figure, again, similar situation. The moment I saw this figure, because I was actually thinking about grabbing this at some point, because I do really love the short films, and this particular design for this character really stuck out to me. The moment I was getting ready to ask them how much it was, somebody instantly ran up and pretty much asked that question for me. He was just like, "Hey, how much for this guy?" And when he said 70, thankfully, the guy didn't take it, and I saw this, and they had like a show at J Jaguar. The guy that I bought was 70. I think he was like 60. And my mom was with me at the time. She asked me like, "Which one do you want between the two?" And it didn't really take me too much to decide. So for $70, I bought the Gemstone Megalon. This is such a cool figure, and I really love this take for Megalon overall. And again, those Gemstone Godzilla short films are some of my favorites. I thought they were just really, really good overall. And to be able to have this guy in my collection, very, very happy. And this is the closed wing variant. If you saw from my shorts, they're doing another version of this guy, but with the wings open. I don't know if I'm gonna grab that guy yet. I don't know, but I'm just happy to at least own one of these guys in my collection. And then the last figure that I bought, which again, kind of walking around the dealer's room, there was a table that was selling custom made Godzilla, like kaiju collectible figures. And I saw that they had this particular mech there that kind of stuck out to me the most. And it was funny too. Like, first off, the guy at the table, very, very nice, very cool, very chill, and like definitely knew what he was talking about when he would come when it came down to like, talking about the figures, like the customs and everything. And for initial price of $30, I was able to bring it down for 25. I have a custom Diamond Select Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. Very, very happy to have this. This thing looks phenomenal. I really love the detail. I love the fact that, like, I think the guy was telling me, like, some of the articulation was modified a little bit than, like, what it was initially posed. Because I think, like, especially with the shoulders, he was telling me that it originally moved out to here, but they kind of fixed it to like move it out a little bit more, which was very, very nice. $25, not complaining at all. And similar to Haya Hire 91, came with all the accessories that was offered. So this guy's complete, or sorry, this gal, I should say. I'm also very happy to have this too because like I don't really own a lot of Pacific Rim figures in my collection, and like I used to have the Robot Spirits, the Gypsy Avenger from Pacific Rim Uprising. The one that was like you could find at like Toys R Us for like $20, and that was a good figure, not bad. But over time, I kind of just decided I didn't really want it, so I gave it to a friend. And this, I'm definitely not selling this. It's from the first film, which is the best one, the superior one. Personally, for me, yeah, say what you want about Uprising. I didn't mind it. I just found it to be very, very disappointing. But the first film is by far the best, one of the best films to ever come out in recent history, in recent years, I should say. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for the haul portion of this video. And now I'm gonna kind of talk a little briefly about the my overall experience because I'll try to keep it as short the best I can. But there were definitely a lot of good surprises here. More so than last year. Now, I got up at 7, and like the night before, I was only running on like 4 hours of sleep, which yeah. The life of, you know, life. But thankfully we had some caffeine with us, so that was very, very good. You always gotta make sure you have that caffeine with you. So yeah, by the time we got to the location, got parking, got like a ticket. We decided to go out to breakfast, and of course, we went to the same place that we went to last year with Bagel Pub, which I highly recommend if you're in the Brooklyn area or if you're just visiting. Definitely make sure to go check it out. Very, very good food, really good breakfast sandwiches, and of course, I had to get coffee as well because even though I had an energy drink on the way, I still wanted to get coffee from there as well, which was yeah. So after we got breakfast, we went back and we were sitting in like the little hall area, right outside from where the first panel was going to be that I wanted to go to. Now, obviously, there were some panels going on, like, already, I think. There was some stuff happening and already, but, the first panel that I wanted to go to was at 11 AM, which was titled, I think, "The King and I: Godzilla's History in Brooklyn," and basically just covering, like, all the different films that, like, Godzilla has appeared in Brooklyn, and they even covered a little bit from Minus Zero, which was pretty cool to see, even though it was from the trailer, but still really cool that that they included that as well. Yeah, so while waiting for that panel to start, somebody came up to us and we started talking to them. Very, very nice person who, fun fact, was actually one of the panelists on the show and the discussion, which was really cool to see. And we were kind of talking to him a little bit about like the history and everything. And you can definitely tell that he was very passionate about one of the particular topics because, of course, the 98 was got to be included. When you talk Godzilla in New York, it wouldn't make sense to not include 98. So the panel was really good overall, very fun. They both of them had a lot of energy and they seemed very, very nice, especially the person that we talked to, which was really cool. Oh, I almost forgot. Right before the panel happened, and as we were waiting, I just finished breakfast. I had to like run to the restroom real quick beforehand. And on my way out, I'm walking like I'm coming across like their courtyard area. I see somebody coming out that I'm very familiar with and I recognize. I'm like, is that who I think it? No shot. Quick shout out by the way. If y'all are familiar with the YouTube channel Fresh Vinyl Reviews, who and the guy's name is Richard Eso, definitely make sure to go subscribe to him if you haven't. The dude is super, super cool. I got to meet him at my very first G Fest way back in 2019. Um, Super chill dude, very funny, a lot of like energy when it comes to his content overall, and his content is fantastic. Like, if you were looking for really good X Plus reviews, look no further than Mr. Rich Easton himself, Fresh Vinyl. So yeah, I see him coming out of the courtyard and like obviously he's on the phone, so like I didn't want to bother him right away. And like I went to the bathroom and then as I was coming back, I decided to chat with him for a little bit because I didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. And yeah, dude, it was so cool. We talked a little bit about like collecting overall some of the Godzilla movies, and then somebody like kind of joined in on the conversation. He was wearing like a Sentai like Red Ranger outfit, Power Rangers outfit, which was kind of cool. And we were talking about other different like media topics with like especially zombies and stuff like that. But really, really cool to see him, and it was such a nice surprise. Like had no like I wouldn't have known he was gonna be there had I not gone to this convention for a second time, and I was so grateful for little moments like that. So, so cool. I was thinking about asking him if I could take a picture with him, but unfortunately, he had to leave, and, like, I didn't wanna, like, take up too much of his time. So, but which was fine. It was totally fine. The fact that I just got to talk to him for a little bit, which was a big win in my book. And yeah, make sure to go subscribe to him. The guy's an absolute legend. And Richie, so if you happen to come across to this video at all, thank you so much for the opportunity just to be able to talk with you. Such a fun time, and hopefully you had a good time at Kaiju Brooklyn as well. So yeah, after that we had the first panel that was really fun, and then the other panel that I wanted to go to was for 10 years of Shin Godzilla, but that wasn't until like 2 p.m. So we had a lot of time to kill, so it was time to finally make our way into the dealer room, and that's where I bought like all the figures. After I bought all the figures that I just showed you, we went back over to get some food, more food. I got like a burger from somewhere, which still good. Kind of wish it was a little bigger, a little pricey, but still good. That's the main thing. um, but I didn't eat that right away because, by the time I got my food and we had to get back and get ready for the second panel, which was, of course, the Shin Godzilla panel, which was the other big one that I was looking forward to the most. And, um, I'm only gonna post, like, brief little clips from that event, but if you're curious and wanna learn a bit more about the overall history behind this film. I did tape the full panel, and I posted that on my channel not too long ago. So, um, there's like a couple seconds like towards the beginning that's shaved off, but for the most part, the entire panel is there. If you guys want to go check that out for yourselves. And yeah, really good panel overall. Like I got to learn a little bit more about the overall history behind Shin Godzilla, like stuff that I didn't really know initially. Um, yeah, it brought up a lot of good points. They even got to interact with the audience by like calling on us if they had like anything, like any questions or like any input they wanted to put like behind the film overall. And I even got a chance to, you know, I even got a chance to give my overall thoughts on the film and just like why I love Godzilla films in general. I will say though, something that kind of stuck out to me as a bit of a negative. They had the like obviously they had like people who were working at the event with like Kaiju Crew t-shirts. They were going around handing people microphones. That way it was easier for like people to be heard better, I guess. And I was getting ready to like speak, but as I was doing that, they they handed me the mic initially, but for some odd reason they took the microphone away from me, and you guys can probably hear it towards the end of the video. If you hear somebody saying like, "Why did you take it away from him? Why did you take it away from him?" That was my mom because she was helping me out with filming the overall reaction and like the overall event, and even like the panelists up front too were like, I think he was next with the microphone, and they handed it back. It was all good, but I guess what I'm trying to say, like again, wasn't it wasn't too bad. It just happened very briefly, but like if you're gonna hand somebody a microphone, don't don't take it away. Like if they're if it's their turn to speak, make sure you give them the time to speak and like let them say what they have to say. Because that kind of just seemed weird and off-putting to just, give them the mic and then all of a sudden just take it away from them. But hey, listen, no biggie. We got to finish out the panel on a good note. I got to get my thoughts in, and they responded afterwards. And another fun little neat thing about the event too was that um, he was like the guy mentioned that he was working on a separate short film, like a separate short film project, and he was looking for like audio for like chanting and like protesting, and we got we got to be part of that, which I thought was really cool. So like he had us like say like certain things that he wanted us to say. We did some stomping, some screaming, and then after that, yeah, the that was the end of the Shin Godzilla panel, which was very cool, very awesome. And then after that, for the most part, I pretty much got to do everything that I really wanted to do. Like I the only other thing that I really wanted to do was go back into the dealer's room like at least once more just to kind of do like a one final lap just to like see everything before officially heading off for the day. And I bought like a couple more things, like as you guys can see, moving the lanyard out of the way. I bought this awesome, really cool Ultraman Blazar t-shirt from the robo7.com panel, like booth, which was really cool. And I bought something else, but that's for a buddy of mine. I'm not gonna show it here only because, like, I don't know, just in case if he it's a surprise. But anyways, after that, after I bought those last two items, and it was funny too because on the way out, one of the other figures that I had on my list was the movie monster series Titanosaurus. I didn't see it at all throughout the course of my time there, but the only time that I saw it was on my way out of the convention. It was perfect. I was kind of tempted, but I'd already spent enough money as is, so I didn't want to like actually like spend much more. So I decided to just leave before I. I figured the best thing to do was just leave at that point. So that's pretty much it for my overall experience with Kaiju Brooklyn 2026. I had such a good time, like I said at the top of the video. Really, I think the biggest things too were like the panel discussions, some of the surprises that I saw with like being able to talk to one of the panelists, and of course, Mr. Rich Iso himself. And even though I still got some really cool figures overall. I'm very happy with all the purchases that I bought for my time over at Kaiju Brooklyn. And if you guys are ever in the area, or if you're just like visiting and you're curious, want to like experience more kaiju conventions outside of like G Fest, of course, then I highly recommend Kaiju Brooklyn. A very, very fun event. And they have a lot to offer. And also, from what I heard, they're planning to add more every year, which is really, really cool to see. Also, sorry that I didn't really do anything before, um, like before and leading up to this convention. And that's just what happens with life. But if you guys are curious and interested, I am going to TFCon, the Transformers convention, in October, like in Orlando for October later this year. And if you guys want me to do any kind of like pre-video, like pre-convention stuff, like anything like that, please let me know and I'd be happy to do that. And also, I'm undecided considering that I will be at that event for more than just one day. I'm undecided as of right now whether I want to do like a multi-part series or kind of similar to this very video where I just talk about everything all in one go. But yeah, that's for October. This is right now. Thank you guys so, so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section as always. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow my show, The Film Chill, on Spotify. If you went to this convention, please let me know your thoughts on like your overall experience. I would love to hear, and I'm very curious about it. For any of the figures that I showed in this video, and when I get around to eventually reviewing them, which figures would you like to see me review first? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.